Yeah, hi everyone. How are you? Hello. Uh, so can anyone first give me the confirmation? I'm also sharing my screen right away, right? Okay. Let me know if my screen is visible, right? And also do let me know if my audio, video, and audio is clear as well. So we can proceed with the lecture again, right? Yeah. Good evening, Anurag. Hi, Sai. Hi, Anjit. Yes, sir. Okay. So can anyone let me know is my screen visible and audio, video, and audio is clear? Let me know, right? Okay. So, hi Harsh. Hi. Good evening. Good evening. ठीक है. So, did you guys go and did you guys practice yesterday's session? We covered yesterday. We covered the what did we cover yesterday? Anyone? Let me know in the chat box. Are you guys aware what did we cover in the previous lecture, which was there, right? What did we do? Anyone in the chat box? Okay, Shan. Thanks for informing. Forms. Okay. Apart from forms, we also did one thing. What was that, Saraswati? Anchor. Yep. So we did anchor tags. Uh, can anyone tell me in the chat box what are the two types of linking that we have in anchors? Right, we did two types of linking, right? What are those two types? Yes, Anurag is correct. Inter and intra. A tab and forms. Yes, Shan correct. Good evening, Yutin. Inter and right. So if I want to navigate on the same page, right? And so which method should I use, intra or enter? I want to navigate on the same page. Which method do I use for that? Yes. Bhavnesh, link tag is used to add CSS, right? So we'll be covering the CSS part today. I'll explain it, don't worry. And anchor tag is for the link, right? Don't worry about it. So I can see some answers with inter and some answers with intra. Okay, I see most of you are correct, right? Most of you are correct. Right. So for that we use intra because we are navigating it on the same page, right? But if you want to navigate on a different page, for that case we use interlinking, right? Right, Swami. Okay. So let's proceed with today's lecture. I can see you guys are practicing, so that's great, right? Right. Yep. Hello. Okay. So that's really good. I can see some good answers, right? And also the concepts are also brushed up. I can see that's really great, right? So today we'll be covering the CSS part, right? So let me just open my Paint today, right? Because my writing is not that good and comes in Notepad, so I'll be using Paint today, right? To let me know. So I'll tell you the flow of today's lecture. What will what we'll be doing? So we'll be covering topics like what is CSS, okay? What is CSS, right? After that, we have three types of CSS, three types of linking of CSS, right? First one, can anyone let me know who have already covered CSS? What are the three types of CSS linking that we have? Anyone has got any idea about it in the chat box? Yes, anyone? What are the three types of linking in CSS that we have? Yes, no one? Chalo, I'll tell you. Okay. So the okay, Sidhu says inline internal. Right. So I can see some answers. Right. Great. So for those of you who don't know, okay, Nishan Saraswati inline, Shubham external, Saraswati not internal. Intralinking is a different topic. So I'm talking about the CSS part, right? The three types of CSS that we have, right? Okay. I think most of you are giving the correct answer. So three types of linking that we have. The first one we have is inline one, right? After inline we have internal. and then we have external linking, right? Yes, Saraswati. External embedded inline style sheet. Yeah. So that is inline only, right? We call it inline only. Okay. So these are the three types of linking that we usually have, right? So in this, if we want, we'll see the use case of it in this lecture only. Why and when do we use inline, when do we use internal, when do we use external, and things like that. Okay, got it. So after that, I'm thinking of in today's lecture, I'll be covering selectors, right? Selectors. So mainly, I'll be focusing on tags. I'll be focusing on tags, and after that, I'll be focusing on ID, and we'll do class. Okay, these three selectors we'll do in today's lecture. And yeah, okay. And if time permits, we'll also see some interesting part today. So I think some of the tags are also remaining. So today I'll be covering the image tag, like how do we use an image tag. And after the image tag, we'll be covering list, right? I think we haven't covered list as well. And after list, I'm thinking of covering, yeah. So this is a very important concept, inline versus block. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me just move it upwards so that first I'll be covering inline block, then I'll be covering list, image tag, and if time permits again, I'll tell you about hosting. How do you host your HTML and CSS files, right? Because hosting. Why is hosting necessary? Anyone? So why do we need hosting? Has anyone got any idea why is the concept of hosting there? Why do we need hosting and things like that? Full form of CSS. Yeah. So I'll be covering. Don't worry about this. I'm just mentioning the topics that we'll be covering today, right? Right. Okay. So I was saying that if time permits, we'll also cover hosting, and hosting we'll do it via Netlify, right? Netlify is easy and very smooth as well. So that's why we'll be covering Netlify. Again, there are also platforms like GitHub pages and things like that. You can also try them, but in the class we'll be doing Netlify because it's very easy for you guys. Okay, got it? Right. Okay. Now, why CSS, right? Why do we need CSS? Anyone? Why do we need CSS? By the way, full form of CSS, right? Full form of CSS is cascading style sheets, right? It's cascading style sheets. But why do we need CSS? Yes, Netlify is host. Yep. So yeah. Netlify is very good. So that's why we'll do Netlify again. So now let's continue. Why do we need CSS? To make a website beautiful, it says. Okay, to make a website beautiful. Any other reason? Make a website beautiful. Okay. So let me just to make a website beautiful. Anyone else? Beautiful web page. Hosting for website live. Yes, hosting for website live, Adish. To style HTML to making page attractive. Yeah. Styling elements used, Sanjay says, used to style and layout of our web page. Krishna Vini says to style HTML. Yeah, so all of you are almost correct, right? So why do we use to make it beautiful, right? To make it appealing. Because at the end of the day, what happens, right? I think you must have heard a very famous quote, जो दिखता है वही दिखता है, right? So it does not matter what how much functionalities you provide to a website. At the end of the day, if it is not presentable, if it is not good, the client may not like it, right? So that's what I says. That's why I say जो दिखता है वही दिखता है, right? So main purpose of CSS is to making a website beautiful, make it appealing, right? Make it responsive as well. This is a very good point. Making a website responsive. So what do you mean by responsive? So I'll come again, quickly come here, right? So if I were to inspect it, right, and uh, if I open my mobile view, so as you can see, when this is the fullest width I have, right? And as soon as I decrease, as soon as I, let's suppose, go to Samsung Galaxy S20, you can see this code has arranged itself in such a way that all these divs have appeared smaller in size, and my code is not breaking, right? My code is not breaking. It is just, adjusting the size of the device, whichever device I'm viewing on. So let's suppose if I want to be view an iPhone 13, so it becomes much wider compared to which device it appears in. So that's why we use CSS for making it more responsive. That's the main purpose of, not main, one of the main purpose of using CSS in your code. Okay, got it? Right, to make a website responsive, right, to make it appealing and things like that, right? So there are three ways in which you can add a CSS file. Let me just is the page setup. So here we have, right, there are three ways of adding CSS. And what are the three ways? I told you in the heading of the lecture. So the three ways are, first one is, we have internal, sorry, I'll be covering inline first, right? Inline styling. What do you mean by inline styling? Right? So inline styling, so this is the most basic one, right, which we use. But again, it has some drawbacks. It has some downfalls. That why we came up with the concept of internal styling, right? And again, internal styling also has some downfalls. It has some pros and it has some cons. So both of them are there. That's why we have come to the concept of external styling, right? So we'll be covering them, all of them, in same flow, right? In inline, then internal, then external, with proper examples, right? So inline styling, we use an attribute called style, right? Style. So I'll show you the example also. Don't worry about it. So inline styling, we use an attribute called style in that, right? So I'll just quickly head over to my VS Code, okay, and I will make an demo file. Let it be index.html, index1.html, let's suppose, okay, and let's suppose okay, I'll make a CSS file later on. And I'm just making a boilerplate, dismiss, okay, and I'm just making a head one tag, right? Head one tag. This is inline styling, right? And let's suppose I am wrapping it inside a div. I want to wrap it inside a div, and this div, I'll close it here. Okay, I'll close it here, and I want to give one a paragraph tag, or let's suppose lorem of 100. Okay, now I have this. Okay, and again, if I want to copy it again, I'll go here. I'll just simply copy it 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and let's suppose 5 times. I'll quickly go here. I'll open the live server and see what is the output that I'm getting right here. Okay. Okay, so this is the output that I'm getting here. I'll just split the screen and we'll see, right? So how do you add internal styling, right? Remember, I told we use a style attribute. So how do we use style? So just not, it's very simple. You just head over to your not here. You just head over to the heading or the place where you want to add a style. Let's suppose I want to add a style here in the div section. So what I'll do, I'll just type in the keyword, type in the attribute style. I'll just type equal to, and background, whatever style I want to give. Let's suppose I want to give a background color of violet. I want to give a background color of violet. So as you can see, my this div individually has become violet in color, right? And let's suppose I also want to give a margin. For those of you who don't know margin, okay, just ignore it. I'll be covering it, but those of you who know, it'll just add some spaces from the inline and outline, right? And the same style, if I want to give to my other divs as well, I'll just quickly copy it so that it saves us time, and I'll quickly paste it here in this div. Okay, and similarly for this div as well. Similarly for this div, and similarly for this div. Similarly for this div. Okay, and yeah, I think they're good to go. So as you can see, what have we done? We have used a style attribute that signifies, that initialize the CSS part, and as soon as you type in CSS, you just type in the whatever CSS you want to provide to your element, right? So but there is one, so there is one issue, right? So let's suppose if your manager comes up and he tells you that you want to, instead of making it violet, now you want to make it green. So what will you do? What will you do instead of going here, right? Instead of this is very tedious, right? Again, if I tell you to change whole of it, you will type here green again, right? And again, you will type here green. Same, you will type here green. So as you can see, you have to type it 5 times, right? Instead of just making it a common file, you are doing it inline styling, and in this case, you are increasing your time. And let's suppose in case of, what do you say? Uh, just give me a second. And let's suppose in case of 5 different divs, let's suppose if you have 100 divs, right? So what I meant to say is, let's suppose if you have, let's suppose 100 divs, and you want to change the style in all of them, change the style in all of them, then what will happen? It will become very tedious, for obviously, right? It will become very tedious, because you have to change the style in each and every, where is that? So you have to change the style in each and every div manually, right? That is why we not do not prefer to use style tag. We can use style tag if we think that there's only short, short CSS that we want to write. So let's suppose if I want to change only a single div, I only have a one div, let's suppose, and I want to, just provide the style quickly to it instead of making external CSS and internal. I just want to save time. So in that case, it is useful that I only provide the internal styling. Otherwise, it is not recommended to use inline styling. Reason being, what are the drawbacks of internal styling? Drawbacks of in not internal, inline styling. Drawbacks of inline styling. Okay, what are the drawbacks? So first drawback is your code becomes redundant, right? Code redundant. Redundant. Code redundant, right? The second is, what is the second? Your code looks untidy. Code looks untidy, right? And let's suppose if I have any mistake in my code, let's suppose I did a small mistake in the, let's suppose, margin 10 pixels, and all of them, let's suppose, have a 10 pixel. But in my uh, my manager tells me to add a 20 pixel to my uh, styling margin. So in that case also, in order to improve my code, I will again have to check the whole code, and again have to change 10 places, right? So instead of this, it'll obviously, it will waste our time, right? It will waste our time. So one drawback is wastage of time, right? So these are the drawbacks of inline, right? These are the drawbacks of inline. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? Are we clear with the inline part? Why do we use inline? Why, when to use and when to not? When to not? If you use the body tag, then whole web page, it will be appearing. Yes, yes. So body tag will cover the whole web page, right? Right, right. ठीक है, ठीक है. Okay, okay. Right. So, Nafi vlog, we can use body tag for making it whole green, but consider a case when you have 10, when you don't want the whole div to, you want it, you want the div body to be a white color, and you only want the divs to change. So in that case, what will you do, right? Because it is not necessary that whatever the color of your div is has to be the color of your body background, body tag, right? And most in 90% of the cases, it is different. The body is different, and the divs are different, so that it looks more attractive, right? More in a contrasting way. Got it? Got it? Anything else? Shall we move ahead? Shall we move with the internal part? If inline is clear, can I have yes or no in the chat box? Camera lag, camera lag. Why is camera lag coming? Just a second. Camera lag. Can anyone let me know if the issue is still there? Am I visible properly? Am I visible properly, guys? Am I audible? Now it's okay. 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 Right. Right. Okay. Right. So okay. So okay. I can see yes in the chat box. So I think the inline part is clear. Now let's move to the internal CSS. Right. Internal CSS. So this is internal CSS. Internal CSS, right? So to overcome to overcome the drawbacks of inline CSS, that is code redundancy and making your wasting your time again and again, we came up with the concept of internal CSS, right? What does internal CSS do, right? What is the advantage of internal CSS over inline CSS, and why do we use internal CSS? We'll be covering that. But for now, do we have any idea in the chat box why do we use internal CSS? If you guys have already done it, anyone, can I have something in the chat box before that? Okay, I'm reading the chat box as well. Why do we use internal CSS? What problem do you think we will be able to follow, or we will be able to rectify if we use internal one? So instead of this, I'll just code it along. Okay, I'll just tell you the difference. So in this case, as you can see, we had inline styling, right? So now, as you can see, I'm if I want to change a color green, I will have to change it every different time, right? To each and every day, as I told you. But now, instead of this, what if I do one thing? I just remove it from here. I just remove all the tags. I will just remove the div. I'll just remove it from here as well, and from here as well, right? From all the places, that means, right? I'll do it from all the places. Okay. Now, how do we use internal ones? So for internal CSS, right? For internal CSS, you just go to your head tag and you type in style, right? Style. And inside the style tag, you mention which tag you want the CSS for. Let's suppose I want it for div, right? So I'll just quickly do one thing. I'll just write a div here, and I'll just opening and closing curly brackets, and I'll just write the CSS which I want to provide. So let's suppose background color of violet, and margin, let's suppose 30 pixels, and padding, let's suppose 30 pixels, right? And some border radius. Don't worry if you don't know about this border radius. I'll be covering it in the later part. But for now, just wanting to add a difference, right? So that it is purely visible. A border box, let's suppose of 20%. I think that would be fine, right? So what happened here, right? As you can see now, my code has become relatively more cleaner as compared to the previous one. What was happening in inline? I was adding the style to each and every div, right? Here I was adding here. But now what has happened? First thing that has happened is my code is becoming more clean now, because it is all there in the CSS part. I don't have to touch my HTML part here, right, in the body section. Plus, the second difference is, if I want to change the color of a certain, if I want to change the color of all the divs, right, and the manager tells me that this color has been changed by the product team and you want to change it, I'll just quickly do one thing. Let's suppose I want the color to be pale yellow or pale green. Let's suppose pale green. So I can quickly do in a single click. As you can see, my all the divs that I want, that were there earlier in violet color, now they are there in the pale green color. Got it? Got it? Blue. Yeah, kuch bhi kar lo. The color can be anything, right? Color, it doesn't matter. But my point being that it has now become relatively easier for you to change the divs, right? Change the color of your div in a single click. You're able to do it, right? So what have we achieved? My code now looks clean. So, okay, so I'll tell you. For that, we use what we use style attribute, style tag, sorry, not attribute, style tag. And we what are the advantages? Advantages. What are the advantages? So the first advantage that we have, code looks cleaner, right? And we have reduced code redundancy to some extent. I would say not completely, but to some extent. Reduce redundant. What is spelling of redundant? R-E-D-U, redundant. R-E-D-U-N-D-A, R-E-D-U-N-D-A-N-T. Yeah. So, okay, we have reduced code redundancy, I would say, to some extent, right? To some extent, right? And what are the advantages that we have got apart from this? We make debugging easier. We make debugging bugging easier, right? If some mistake appears in my CSS part, I'll just, instead of going to each and every div, I'll just change the common div, right? Redundancy, okay. REDUN, I think I'm correct in this way, right? REDUNDANC. Thank you everyone for correcting me, right? So it makes debugging easier, right? Now, so are we clear with the internal CSS, right? Are we clear with how do we add internal CSS? I think it's very easy, right? It's very easy. So this is how we do internal CSS. We just make a style tag, and inside the style tag we give the div, we give the tag which we want to have a style on, and we just write the background color here. Okay, and you can decrease the transparency, and you can do any color you want to, right? It's up to you. The point being, this is how you use an internal styling. Yes, internal styling can give more option to customize. Shan, not necessarily. So I'll not say it is very correct, but to some extent yes, because styling customization doesn't matter if you're using inline, internal or external. It's just your like, again I told you, right? It is better for your code. It is better for your readability, and in terms of like, if there are any mistakes in your code and things like that, so it'll be very easier for you to debug and things like that. But it is not I would say not customizable. In inline also you can do everything, but it is more easier, I would say, right? Bhuvesh says how to change the one paragraph color only. So for changing the one paragraph only, that we use with the help of selectors, right? With the help of selectors, we will be doing selectors. We'll be covering selectors. I think I mentioned it. No. So we'll be covering selectors for that. Don't worry about it. But for now, just focus on what I am teaching. Okay. Control C. Yep. So, so that will be covering in selectors part. Don't worry about it. But for now, just focus on what I am teaching. Okay. ठीक है. ठीक है. Excel with yeah, you can change different colors for different days. But again, for that you'll be using selectors. That will be covering in the different part. What will happen if you use inline? It's in the same. Okay, great question. Great question. So Utrin says, what will happen, right? This is a very good question. What will happen if we use both internal as well as inline CSS together? Right? This is what you meant, Utrin, right? So anyone in the chat box can come up with this question. What will happen in this case? So let's suppose in the styling, if I want to if I'm using styling and by mistake I gave it both inline and internal, so in this case what would happen? Utpal is very correct. Inline is given more preference, right? How to add color for only limited lines, that will do with the help of selectors, don't worry. Okay, so guys, this is a very important question, right? So what will happen if I do both the things together? Let me just make it right side. Yeah. So, okay, let's try, right? Let's try. So as you can see, I have given a div internal styling here, and let's suppose I come here to this div and I give style equals to background color. Let's suppose red. So as you can see, this background color has changed, right? What does this signify? What does this signify? It signifies that your inline CSS is given more preference than internal CSS, right? Preference. So your inline CSS is given more preference than your internal CSS. Got it? Are we clear, guys? what happens when we use both of them together. So if I were to give an id style here also, style background color of yellow, yellow green, let's suppose. So my second one will become yellow green, but all of them, because I have not applied styling here, right? There's no styling here. So by default, what will happen? It will pick up the internal styling. Got it? Clear now? Clear now? Clear, 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 clear. So shall we move ahead? Okay. So after inline, let's move to the this part, to the external CSS. Most widely used. In fact, 90%, in fact, not even 90%, 95% of the times you will be using external CSS in your projects, right? Else 95% of the times you will be using external CSS, right? And why is that? So why is that, guys? Why is that? This is because let's suppose you have a situation, right? Let's suppose you have 5 files, right? 1 2 3 4 5, right? And let's suppose here you have a paragraph tag. Here also you have a paragraph tag. I'm just giving you a situation, right? And here also you have a paragraph tag. Here also you have a paragraph tag. And here also you have a paragraph tag. So in this case, so let's suppose I want to apply a styling. Let's suppose I want uh, color to be green, right? Here also I want color to be green, same as earlier ones, right? Because it is the same project but different files. Color green. Here also color green. Here also color we have will be green, and here also color green, right? So according to your understanding for the concepts we have covered till far, right? According to your understanding of inline and external, what do you think would be the best approach to add background color, right, green, to all the web pages? Let's suppose I have 5 different files, right? Here, let's suppose I create 5 different files: index1.html, index2, index3, index, or let me just create it: index2.html, index3.html, index4.html, and index5.html, right? So in this case, what will happen? So you got the question, right? My question is that I have 5 different files: 1 2 3 4 5, right? As you can see, 1 2 3 4 5, and I want to apply a common color of green to it. So according to your understanding, what would be the best approach here I can follow? Tell me. Make a separate CSS. Okay, so Uttarain, I have not covered external CSS for now, so I'm just saying, by using inline and internal CSS, how many can you add? What is the best method that you can follow here? Okay, I can see Saraswati says we can link to many files. I didn't exactly get. Can you again tell me? What do you mean by that? What happens if there are small mistakes after running the command? I didn't get the reference. Can you please again tell me the question? Internal. Saraswati says internal. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? What can we use here if I want to follow the same thing? What can we use? Anyone? 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 Can anyone let me know? Okay. So I'll tell you the use case of it. So you got right. So in this case, I have 5 different files to it, 5 different files. And let's suppose with the knowledge, with the limited knowledge that I have of inline and external, what I can do is I can think of internalized styling, right? What will I do? What will I do? I'll just write style, right? And in style, I'll just give I'll just give a paragraph, or div, whatever it is, right? Div, whatever it is, and I will just do the color, background color, or color, let's suppose color to be green, right? This is what I would do, the most efficient approach with the limited knowledge that I have. And again, I'll copy the same thing here, style, and same thing I'll be copying here as well, right? Same thing I'll be copying here, same thing I'll be copying here, same thing I'll be copying here, same thing I'll be copying here. So again, as you can see, what has happened here. So I told you, right? It removes redundancy to some extent. To some extent. Where is that? Where is that internal one? Yep. External CSS. Where is that gone? So I mentioned, right? It only reduces your redundancy to some extent, right? But not all the times. So in that case, it is very useful to use a concept called as external styling. So what I want, right? Instead of having all the five making the five style tags, what I can think of is I can have a common file, right? I can have a common file. This is a common file that I have, right? Common CSS file, right? And I can link this file. I can link this file to all the divs that I want. I can link it here. I can link it here. I can link it here, and I can link it here. So what is happening now? Instead of having five different styles, five different repeated code, I can have a same code that will be just linking towards my all the five files that I have: index1.html, 2.html, 3, 4, and 5, right? And things like that. So what have we achieved, right? So how do we do this? How do we do this? So first of all, as I told you, right, I have to make a common CSS file. And how do I make a common CSS file? I can give any name I want to. Let's suppose style.css, and use the extension .css, right? I think we covered CSS extension. And let's suppose I am removing style because I want to add external CSS now. I'll remove it from here as well. I'll remove it from here as well, right? So now my code looks something like this. See, now the first thing you want to do, so first thing you want to do is I head over here. Now, so if I want to link my CSS, I need something to link, right? I need a common linking or common link, or to provide a URL that will tell me, okay, this CSS file is for this HTML file. For that, we use a link tag. How do we use a link tag? I'll tell you. For this, inside the header section, remember, we use link, right? Link, first we give the relation. What is the relation? Relation is style sheet. Always remember. This will be the same each and every time you do. Style, STYLESH, style sheet, right? And then you give the reference, similar to what we did yesterday, right? And in anchor tag we used to give the reference. Now I'll give the ranks. Well, what is the reference? It is index dot sorry, it is style.css. It is style.css. So now what has happened? I have successfully linked my internal external CSS to all the files now, right? So whatever I do here, that style will be appearing here as well, right? So now if I head over here and I head over to my div, right? So this div, I'll come here, I'll just simply do div. I'll just simply do a background color. I'll just open it here also, right? A background color of violet, right? Color of violet, and I'll apply some padding of 30 pixels, not 340, 30. Padding, I'll have some margin of 30 pixels as well, right? And some border radius of 10%. So what have we achieved here, guys? What have we achieved here? So this now becomes relatively cleaner because you do not have even a single CSS code right here. In inline, what did you have? You had your inline CSS attached to each and every div. In internal, what you had, you made a style here and you created some customized CSS part there. But again, in internal CSS also had some CSS. But in this case, you just have to provide the link. And in this link, you in this file, the link which you have provided in your HTML tag, whichever CSS you write, that will be appearing in your styling sheet like this, right? So how to link? How to link? You for that, okay, I'll tell you how to link. You use a link tag, right? You use a link. How to link external CSS. For that, you use link. You use relation. Relation is, you give here style sheet, and you give href, it is the reference, and you give the name of the file, name of css file, name or path of css file, you can also say path of css file. Here you go, right? This is how you link it. Got it? Got it. So what have we achieved now? If I want even now, so let's suppose now if I have this index2.html, right, and just really make a boilerplate. By making a boilerplate, let me just add a simple heading. This is external styling. I'll just quickly copy this part. This is external styling 2. This is external styling 1. Okay. Right. No. So this is 2. This is 3. This is this is 4, and this is 5. Right. Right. So again, to add a CSS, I'll just simply what I told you. I'll just add a link. Right. Link, and relation is, what is the relation? Style sheet, and href equals to what? What is this? What should I give here? What should I give here? Anyone? What comes here in the href tag? What should I put here? Anyone? Tell me in the chat box. Close the statement. Where are you saying? So I was saying that what should I provide here so that my style.css gets linked to demo this index12 file, location of CSS file. And what is the location of CSS file here in this case? What is the location, guys? What is the location of my CSS file? It is style.css, right? Great. Style.css. So that right, Saraswati says, yeah, right, Saraswati. It is style.css. And let me also make some div, right? Because need a div because to add a style, and lorem 100, and same div I'll copy in the other part as well. This div, this div, this div, and this way I think already has it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll just quickly do one thing. I'll just do it and open with live server. Open with live server. Yep. I open this live server, and I'll just quickly go here as well. This I've opened. I'll open this as live server with open with live server, right? And this, so this is styling 2. This is okay. I've opened both of them. Styling 2. Let me open styling 3 as well. Open with live server. Wait. Okay, my bad. Styling 3. This is styling 3. This is why is it opening the same file? Just give me some. So this okay, got it. Just let me close it once again, and just let me open it again. So this is the index1.html, and this is index2, and this has a styling of 2. Right? Open with live server. I'll quickly go ahead, and as you can see, this has come here. And let's quickly open the third part as well, index3.html. Open with live server. We have index 3. I'll just quickly go here. I'll just do index, open with live server, index 4, and similarly I'll do the same for the last one as well. Open with the live server, right? Okay. So now what? So and again, I need to give the link as well in order to add the CSS link. Rel is style sheet, right? Okay. We can also use shortcut here, but I'm not using shortcut so that you guys don't get into habit of it. But if you are comfortable, you can use shortcut as well. No issues. Style sheet, right? So now my index also has style sheet, and I'll just copy the same. I'll put it in index 3, index 4, and index 5. I think it already has. right? So now, as you can see, right, as you can see, my all the 5 files, right, all the 5 files, I only just needed to do one thing. I just only provided the link here, and only with that link, as you can see, my all the CSS part uh, have been enabled the files. So instead of adding the whole color here, what I did is I just made a common file, and with that common file, right, I linked my reference to it, linked the external reference to it. So what was the benefit of it? That my code redundancy has absolutely become negligible, right? It is not even there now, because I'm only just using a single sheet and all the changes that I want to do, right? And if I want to just change it, let's suppose, again, I want to change the color. It is very simple. You just head over here, and let's suppose I want it dark green, dark cyan, let's suppose. So it is this simple. You just only add it here, and it will be appearing in all the files that I have made. That's simple. You don't have to go to each and every file and change it. Got it? Got it? Got it, everyone? Is it clear? So we can also change color if you want to. We can also change color if you want to change all the files. So if you want to change a specific color, again, then you can also use you can use styling here, right? But if you want to give a separate color, that will be done with the help of selectors. That will be covering the next part. Got it, everyone? Shall we move ahead? Shall we close this example? Right? ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. I think inline intern. Okay, Shubham, thanks. Yes, sir. Okay. So I think inline, internal, and external. I think it is clear now. What is the use of all of three? Why do we need them, and things like that, right? So now let's move to selectors. Selectors, right? What are selectors? Selectors, we will be covering mainly basically two types of selectors. First is the ID, second one is the class, right? So someone in the chat told me in today's chat doubt only, sir, what if I want to give unique, this div I want to give, let's suppose green, and this div I want to, let's suppose green, give yellow. So how do I achieve that? How do I achieve different colors for multiple divs, right? For that we use selectors. Selectors, yes, Saraswati. We first selector that we have is ID. How do we use ID? So first of all, we need to give it an ID, that which div you want to provide a specific color to it. ID, let's suppose this is ID, let's suppose what HTML1, right? And this ID is, let's suppose, ID equals to HTML2, right? And in this, how do I target it? How do I target my ID? I'll just quickly erase this part. I'll just provide a hashtag. I'll just try the name of the ID HTML1, and then I can provide any background color that I want. So let's suppose aqua. So in this case, only the ID that has, only the div that has this ID HTML1, only this will get different colors, right? Similarly, if I want to do the second part as well, right? Second part, what is the second div? We have HTML2. In this one, we'll also be covering background color. Let's suppose I want to give some blue violet color, different color, not exactly same, but different color. So for that, we use IDs. What does an ID do? What does an ID do? It increase, yeah, it provides uniqueness, UNIQ, uniqueness to your tags. Okay, it provides uniqueness to your tags. How is it unique? That each and every div right now has some unique ID. With that being said, as you can see now, my specific div I want to target, which can have specific colors according to my, even I can do any CSS for that. If let's say I want to add a margin to it, specifically to div1, div2, I can add a margin here, I can add a padding here. It is up to me whatever style I want to give. So right, this is different and this is different. Okay. Yeah, I'll be covering two. I will do you really need Saraswati? Okay. Okay, right? So this was the case of ID, right? And now the second part we have is class, right? What is class? So let's suppose we have a situation, right? Let's suppose again have a div, and in this div, let's suppose you have heading 1. Okay, how do I change the color? Yeah, let's suppose you have, okay, okay. Let's suppose you have heading 1, then here also you have heading 1, and here also you have, okay. Here also you have heading 1, let's suppose, and here also you have heading 1, right? And you have a heading 1 that is here also, let's suppose. And now my situation is that I what I need to do, I need to provide both these, right? Both these part. I need to provide, just give me a second, so sorry for that. So what I need to do is I need to provide uh, these heading a color of black, right? A color of black, color black, and I want to give this heading a color of red, right? Color of red, I would say. So what can I do in this case? What can I do in this case? What can I do in this case? So in this case, the first thing that you know is you can use ID, right? You can definitely use ID, but it is not recommended to use an ID because IDs are there for uniqueness, right? But if you see, if you feel like this is not unique, right? This H1 and this H1 is not unique, so it is not recommended to use ID here because of not uniqueness. In that case, it is recommended. It is recommended in this case specifically. It is recommended to use class in this classes. How do I use class? So I'll quickly go here. And I'll just simply create. What do I need to create? I'll just create. So let's suppose let it be heading only. Okay, and let's suppose I'm giving it a class of let's suppose yellow. I want to provide it a yellow color to this, and this also I want to give a class of yellow, right? And this also will be giving a class of yellow. Three divs I want yellow, and rest divs I want, let's suppose, red. So I'll give this color a class of red, and this color also a class of red. Okay, and now how do I access it? For class we use a dot operator. Dot yellow. Now my control has shifted to all the divs that have a class called yellow. Got it? Now I'll use a background color. So let's suppose yellow. Yellow. So as you can see, all the divs that had a class of yellow have been applied a color of background color of yellow. Similarly, I'll just target red. I'll just do dot red. I'll just do background color of red. Now all the divs that have this I have not provided. Just a second. This I have provided. Okay. Yellow. This div is not working. Class. S is missing. Okay. So now as you can see, all the CSS part, right? So this is what is achieved with the help of a class. What it is achieved, that if I want certain thing, right, which have a group of CSS attached to it, because as you can see, this H1 and this H1, they have same CSS, right? In that case, it is recommended to use a class. But if you want that each heading should be different, in that sense you would use a ID. Got it? Got it? Everything clear? So are we clear with the selectors part, guys? Anyone? Yes or no in the chat box? What do we use for accessing an ID in the CSS part? Also tell me the answer. Let's suppose if I want to use, if I want to refer to ID, how do I refer to an ID in the CSS part? Tell me. How do I refer to an ID in my CSS part? How do I refer to an ID in my CSS part? Hashtag Shubham. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, understood, understood. Okay. Yes, hashtag. No dot. So dot we use for class, Naveen. Oh, sorry, not Naveen. Who was it? Luffy. I mean, what is the name? I don't know. But yeah, dot we use for class and hashtag we use for ID. Okay. Okay. So now let me just tell you the. Okay. So we have done selectors. Inline block is remaining. Image list. I think we are short of time. Okay. So let me first cover this part. Okay. Let me first cover this part. Hosting. How do you host a website? So in order to host a okay, so do you want me to cover the hosting part or do you want me to cover the do you want me to cover this part? Tell me. Anyone? It's your wish. We have 5 minutes more remaining. So tell me fast. Do you want me to cover the hosting part or do you want me to cover the uh, this list and image part or block inline block part? So both class and ID perform same thing. Yes, Tarun, they are both the same thing. But in case ID is used to provide uniqueness, right? But whereas in class, as you can see, this is not unique. These three h1 this three h1 they are not unique, they have same styling. So in that case you provide a class, but it would if there was a case that this h1 would be yellow, this will be green, this will be red. So this is to provide a uniqueness because all the different h1 will have different unique styles. In that case you provide id. That is the main difference between id and a class. Okay, so most of you are saying hosting. Okay, let me cover hosting. Okay, for hosting you just need to do one thing, right? You I think we don't need this. Let me delete this. Recycle bin, recycle bin, recycle bin. Right. So for that, you just head over to your Netlify. Open this, right? Netlify. This will open up. And before Netlify, you need to go to this website, repo.new, and you need to create a new repo. Give it a repo name. Let's suppose I'm giving it demo one, demo one. Let's suppose, okay? And I'll just click on this button. I'll just create a repository. Okay, I'll quickly now I'll do one thing. As soon as I click on create, this page will open up, and I'll click on upload an existing file. This option right here. I'll click on this one. Okay. Now I'll just drag the files that I have. So which all files that I have, I'll just quickly do it and just open it in my Explorer. Right. This is the Explorer that I have. So these two files I'll just select and I'll just drag here. As soon as I drag, right, I press this button commit change. Commit change. As soon as I click on commit change, my files will get uploaded on GitHub. Got it? Now after that, I go over to netlify.com. This is the website, right? This is the website. And if you have not signed up, first sign up with your email. I already signed up, so I need to log in again. I am clicking on login, right? So I have logged in, right? Now what will I do? I'll just click on add a new site and click on import an existing project. As soon as I click on import an existing project, I'll just go to GitHub, right? Once I click on GitHub, it'll so mine is already authorized because I've already signed in. If you are not signed in, you first have to sign in with your GitHub credentials, and then this page will open up. After that, you need to tell the name of the repo. Remember, we made a repo called as demo one. I'll just click on enter, and I'll just quickly, yeah, this is the repo that I have. I just quickly click on this one. Right. After clicking on this one, there's nothing fancy in that. I just quickly go ignore all these things. Just quickly go on this one. There's a button called deploy site, right? Click on deploy site. As soon as you click on deploy site, automatically build starts running, right? If you want to click on this, you can see this progress. You can go here and you can see your website is being deployed. It is under process. Now wait for it as it gets completed. So you'll see some buildings here, right? Finish restoring. This, yeah, and this is your site is live. Done. As simple as that. Now, if you click here, right? If you click on this link, now you can see that your site, okay, let me just give it some time also. I think it is not deployed properly. Let it properly deploy. Yep, site is live. So now if I click on permalink, and you can broken link, okay, why is this? Just give me a second. I think I made some mistake in the deployment. Let me do one thing. Let me just deploy it again. I think I just quickly open it. That's why it's not working. Yep. I think I made some mistake. Don't worry. I'll just quickly go again here, and I'll just open the production link. Page not found. Just quickly go to deploys, right? Right. I'll just quickly go site overviews. It says published, but it is not. So, okay, deploys. Okay, so no issues. I'll just quickly deploy it again. Let's try again. So there might have been some failed productions. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go to my this. I'll quickly click here. It shows developed, but it is not. Okay, no issues. I quickly go on this one. Add an existing project. I'll quickly go on GitHub. Again, I'll do the same process. Demo one. Right. I'll just quickly go here. I'll do this. Okay. Do have an index? Okay. After this, I'll click on deploy site. So site deploy is in progress. Let's complete. Let's wait for it. Yep, it is under progress. It is under progress. In the meanwhile, any doubts you have, you can let me know. Yeah, we'll be covering Flexbox. Not Yeah, we'll be covering Flexbox tomorrow. Right, site is live. Let it run. Let it build. Right. Okay. Anything else? Any doubts? Anyone? In the meanwhile, it is building. So I'm telling you how to host a website. I'm telling you how to host a website. Okay. What does the use of iframe tag? So iframe tag is basically used if you want to embed an video or audio kind of a thing. So that they use for that we use iframe tag, right? Hosting I didn't understand. So hosting we are doing, right? Let me just complete the hosting as well. So it is very easy. I'll tell you again. Also, you can watch the recordings. You can follow the same process, and it will be fine. It's very easy process, right? When I upload and when do I deploy? So for uploading the assignments, you can head over to Let's Grad, right? So Grad and this one. So from here, you need to sign up first. I need to sign up. So let's suppose I'm signing with my Google account, right? And after sign up, I'll just go to programs. Yeah, I'll just go here. So this is the course that you are doing now. Click on this course, enroll now. And once you click on this course, there will be an option to enroll now. First, I have to enroll, right? My programs. If I click here, so now as you can see, this I think this was the 10th April session. This was the 11th April session, and here you can mark attendance as well, right? And so this submit assignment, whatever assignment you'll be having today, you'll have to submit it from here. This is finished. This is today's lecture. You'll get some assignment today based on the concepts which we have covered, and you can mark your attendance here, and you can also mark do like fill in this form and mark your attendance as well, right? And you can submit it. This is how you do it. Okay, now let's see the deployed if it is working. Let me just refresh and let's see. Yeah, so now I have the permit link. Let's see. Oh, it says page not found again. Okay. Chalo, we'll discuss the hosting part tomorrow. I'll see it. What is going wrong? I think it, but it should have worked. Instruction link page not found. It's open enter. So let's see what is this error. Let's go to Google and Netlify error. Okay, let's see what have we have in the forums. We attempt to serve only index HTML in case you try to load a certain path. What is the path? It is in. Acha, got it. Got it. No, I got it. I got the issue. I got the issue. So one thing you have to make sure. I just only wanted 2 minutes more. One thing you have to make sure that if you are hosting, right, this name should be index, not index one. It should be index.html. This is a common naming convention that they follow, right? So sorry, that was my bad, right? So now you have to. What do you have to do? You have to just say the same. Yeah, okay, Saraswati. So now what you have to do, you have to just change the file name to index.html, because as you can see, they have clearly mentioned in their form, right? We attempt to serve only index.html. In case you try to load some site without a path, for example, this is the easiest way to blah blah blah. So the point being here is you only have to use index.html. If you use any other name in the HTML file, it will not host. So after we are done with this one, let me do one thing. Let me just quickly go to my repo. Let me create new repo altogether. Repo dot new. Okay, and let me make it a name. Give it a name of demo2, and let me just create my repository. For those of you do not who didn't understand the hosting part, I'm doing it again. So once I've created the repository, I'll be landing on this page. I'll click on upload an existing file. I'll choose the files. These are the files that I want to choose. I'll drag and drop it here. Okay, and now I'll just commit the changes. As simple as that. Got it? Now I'll just head over to Netlify. Add a new site, import from existing project, GitHub, wait for it to authorize. I'll just search the repo. I think it was demo2. Yep, demo2. And I will just click on deploy site. Okay, the site deploy is in progress. I'll click on this link. I'll click on this production building and let it complete for deployment. Let it wait. Let's wait. So deployment, and it says site is live. After site is live, let me just refresh. And let me just go here, open this link. And again, so we have successfully hosted our website. This is how you host it. Now, this link, irrespective of on whichever browser, if I go here on a Brave browser and I click on this link, it will be visible to each and every friend of yours. It will be available publicly. You can share it to whichever person you want to. It's publicly available. Okay, got it. Got the hosting part. So I'll also paste the link here. Right. This is the hosting part. This is the hosting that we did. Okay. Clear with the hosting part, guys. Clear with the hosting part. Any doubts? Or not private chat? Okay. I cannot send because it is locked. But yeah, this is how we do it. Excel with so for that background image, you use a tag called background URL and you specify the URL of that name. Okay, guys, that was all for today's session. I hope you really liked it. You got the hosting part as well. I think it is clear now. Hosting was not straightforward. It is very straightforward indeed, but you just watch today's recording if you get time, and you'll see that It is just a very simple process. Like you just have to make a repository and just have to drag and drop the file. That's it. Netlify will do it automatically for you. It is as simple as that. Just make sure to watch the recordings and practice. That's it. That's what I'm demanding from you guys. It's very simple. Trust me. Guys, right? Shall we wind up? Shall we wind up the session, guys? Yep. So thank you for all attending the session, right? And we'll see each other in tomorrow's lecture. Yep. All right. So I'll take your leave. Bye. Happy coding and keep practicing, guys. Bye.
If you have liked this Essentials program, which is giving you a confidence that you can become a developer, this is just a starting. You can enjoy this learning for at least next 6 months and also become a full stack web developer or a full stack data science person and crack a job end of the day. If you are interested for that program, just go check out LetsUpgrade's full stack program right now from the website. What are the key features of LetsUpgrade's full stack program? 3 key features of LetsUpgrade full stack program. Number 1, you get to learn everything live by an expert coming in from an industry. So this expert is working as a day job, and sham ke time, evening time, this guy is going to teach you in your classes. This cohort is going to be of only 20 students at the max. So lots of focus is there on you to make you an industry ready developer, and you can get jobs in 150 plus partner companies that we have got, that LetsUpgrade has got, NPCI, Red Plus and various other companies. Now talking about the second feature, you get to build 15 plus projects. These 15 projects will help you get the confidence that you can be the top-notch developer at any company. Let it be the FANG companies or the MANG companies, or let it be any tier 2 or a service-based or a product-based companies. Third and the last feature, we have an amazing job board where on a day-to-day basis, we get 10 to 20 job descriptions, JDs, job applications being uploaded by companies directly. You can go ahead and check out those all jobs, apply, and we will go and get you prepared for that interview. So this is the 3 things, 3 big USPs of LetsUpgrade's full stack program. Go join right now. You can avail a 20% straight discount. The price of this program is 36,600, but you can get this program for 29,600 right now. Go check it out and let's meet in your batch 1, which is happening this Saturday. Bye bye, take care, have a nice day.